So we're going to talk about now about deferred annuity. So deferred annuity is an annuity that does not immediately start after purchasing. Example, if you're going to loan an appliances, so after getting the appliance, you're not going to immediately start paying after getting the appliance, but you're going to have a rest of 3 months before you're going to start paying. That's a deferred annuity. So you're not going to immediately start paying after, if it is monthly payment, so you're not going to immediately start payment after the first month, but is a rest payment, the rest months rather. So those rest months is actually called the period of deferral. So it's different process. It needs different kind of formula because it is different situation. So we're going to learn how to solve for that. So the first problem is a loan is to be repaid quarterly for 15 years. The will start at the end of 3 years. If interest rate is 10% converted quarterly, how much is the loan if the quarterly payment is 10,000 pesos? So in the problem, a loan is to be repaid quarterly for 15 years that will start at the end of 3 years. So he loaned and then he's going to pay it after 3 years back. So he will going to pay it after 3 years, but he will keep on paying for it for 15 years. So if the interest rate is 10% converted quarterly, how much is the loan if the quarterly payment is 10,000 pesos? So to solve for this one, we know that R is the equal payment. So that's 10,000. So next is we will going to have J. We're going to look for J. J is I over M. So what's the interest rate? That's 10%. So this is the I. And quarterly, so it means M is equal to 4 because there are 4 quarters in a year. So that's 0.10 divided by 4. So 0.10 divided by 4 is 0.025. So that's for J. Next, we need to find out K and N. N is the number of period for payment. So the number of payment. So M times T. So we know that M is 4. So because it's quarterly, so 4 times T, which is for 15 years. So 4 times 15. So 4 times 15, that's 60. Next, K. K is the number of conversion period in the period of deferral. So, or the number of artificial payments. So, in a matter of 3 years, ilan yung conversion period in a matter of 3 years? So, it's because it's quarterly. So, sa isang year, 4. So, in 3 years, that's 12. So it's just the same process, M times 3. So the period of deferral is 3 years. So T is equal to 3 and M is 4. Diba? We know that M is 4 because it's quarterly. Tapos ang period of deferral, ilang years siya hindi babayad. That's for 3 years, so 3. So 4 times 3 is equal to 12. So we know already all the necessary data. So we're going to change that, substitute it already. So 1000, 10,000 rather, minus, 1 minus 1 plus 0.025 raised to the power of negative 60, or negative 12 plus 60, or 60 plus 12. So it should be 12 plus 60 pala, but they're going to have the same result. So over 0.025 minus R, which is 10,000. So 10,000, 1 minus 1 plus 0.025 k, which is negative 12 over j, is equal to j plus 0.025, which is equal to, so we'll start with this one. So sa loob ng parentheses, so 1 plus 0.025 is equal to raised to the power of negative, negative 60 plus 12 is 72. So that's it. 1 minus that, the answer for that is this one, divided by 0.025 times 10,000 is equal to 332,400.7803 minus 1.025, that's 1 plus 0.25 raised to the power of negative 12, 1 minus answer, divide by 0.025 times 10,000 is equal to 102,577.646 thousandths. So minus that, 332,400.7803 is equal to 229,823.1343. So yung loan niya actually is 229,823.1343. So that's how much he loaned. So another example, a mother's saving may allow her to withdraw 10,000 quarterly for 5 years, starting 3 months after 20 years. How much is the mother's savings if the interest rate is 8% compounded quarterly? R, how much is the quarter payment? That's 10,000. So 10,000. J is equal to I over M. The interest is 8% compounded quarterly. So that's 0.08 quarterly divided by 4. That's 0.02. 0.08 to check, divided by 4. That's 0.02. So we'll start with K. So it's quarterly, so M is equal to 3. How many years yung deferral? So a mother's savings may allow her to withdraw 10,000 quarterly for 5 years, starting 3 months after 20 years. So after 20 years, so 20 years yung deferral is equal to 60. Next is the N. M times T. So 3. So 5 years. So that's 5 years yung N. So 5 years yung makatanggap. So 5 years yung payment. So and 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, 15. So excuse me, mali pala tayo sa M dito. M should be 4. So this should be 4 times 20 is 80. 4 times 5, that's 20. Thank you for correction. So we'll copy the formula. P is equal to R, 1 minus 1 plus J raised to the power of negative K plus N over J minus R, 1 minus 1 plus J raised to the power of negative K over J. So substitute, R is 10,000, still 10,000, 1 minus 1 plus J, which is 0.02 raised to the power of negative K is 80 plus 20 over 0.02 minus 10,000 1 minus 1 plus j, which is 0.02, negative k, which is 80, negative 80 over 0.02 is equal to 10,000. Bakit nilagay ko 10,000? 1 minus 1 point, you could erase this one, 1.02 raised to the power of negative 100 over 0.02, or you could answer directly just like our first example, minus 10,000, 1 minus 1.02, add, raised to the negative 80 over 0.02. So 1 minus 1.02 raised to the power of negative 100, that's in the numerator, divided by 0.02 times 10,000 is 430,983.5164 minus 1 minus 1.02 raised to the power of negative 80 divided by 0.02 times 10,000 is equal to 397,445.1359 is equal to 430,983.5164 minus answer is 33,538.38. So that's how much he invested. So ibig sabihin, ang kanyang mother nag-invest ng 33,538,000.38 for 20 years na hindi mag-withdraw, hindi niya tinatouch yung 33,000. After 20 years, every 3 months, makakatanggap siya ng 10,000 for 5 years. So, ibig sabihin, yung 33,000 niya, if we're going to compare it, so makakatanggap siya ng 10,000 pesos after every 3 months for 5 years. So, ang 10,000 niya times 4, kasi sa isang year, 4 times siya makakatanggap ng 10,000. And how many years is that? 5. So, ang 33,000 niya naging 200,000. So, but he waited, or she waited for 20 years for that to happen. So, that's how you're going to solve for deferred annuity. So,